Inside her East Side home, Maria Sullivan might not be beating the heat, but she is bearing it.
Yeah, I adjusted, I think, with all the heat.
There's no central AC, and one of her window units broke a few years ago. And the other?
This is the one I have, but it doesn't really get cold, especially when it's really hot.
So she makes do with a pair of fans, one of which isn't always reliable either.
It's new, but it only lasts about an hour, and it stops.
She avoids staying in the kitchen.
I make my food, and I come and I start eating over here because over there it's too hot.
And worries about how the heat may affect her health.
Well, yeah, but you just have to make do.
Because she says she doesn't have the money to fix it. She's surviving on her husband's pension.
With that, I pay the electricity, the water, and the rent.
Fortunately for Sullivan, community organizers with West Care, Texas, brought her a new air conditioner today. They don't do many air conditioners, but they do give out fans. And they say Sullivan is far from the only one in this situation.
It has to be bunches and bunches.
West Care organizers say they often see this problem at older homes like Miss Sullivan's, where air conditioning wasn't built into it, and the folks there can't afford a fix.
Seniors, single parents. So, and there's a lot of people that are maybe have a husband and wife, but they can't afford it. Their electricity bills are too high, so they can't. If they do have it, they can't really run it.
But Sullivan is happy with the help and looking forward to cooler days ahead.
Well, I'm going to be good, and it's not going to be hot.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
They want to help, man. I can help get it.
Pete Pereira packs as much as he can into his truck.
I got granola bars, I got crackers, I got waters, I got electrolytes.
And by the end of the day, it's empty again.
Yeah.
6 days a week, Pereira is driving through the streets of San Antonio, handing out supplies to those without shelter.
I got waters, I got cold, I got snacks. Y'all want some stuff, man? I'm here on a friendly basis.
He works for Haven for Hope, and this summer the nonprofit is upping its efforts to help those in need.
We can't reach everybody, we can't save everybody, but we do the best we can.
And Sierra Smith is one of those people.
I've just been there, just outside all day, just hanging in there, really.
Smith says the extreme heat has been hard this summer, but it's something she's getting used to.
It's hot right now, but there's been hotter days where I'm just want to give up.
And she says Haven for Hope has helped her get through the heat.
There's nice people that come out to us and they come to the fence like that and they feed us.
Living out of a tent for the last 9 months.
People just bring tarps.
Rodriguez says she just wants to feel seen.
We're out here we're here just like y'all are. I said, just because y'all have houses, we may not have houses. Our houses might be in a tent.
And that feeling, Pereira says he's hoping he's supplying the most.
Just remember that everybody's a human being no matter what situation they're in. Just because somebody's on the street doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
They may work with water all day, but the job sites for Saw's crews are anything but cool.
You're adding 30 degrees to them when they're working the asphalt and there's no shade.
So since about the end of June, the utility has used 4 portable HVAC units powered by diesel generators. It sets the units up where the work is expected to last a while, blowing cool air into a break area and down into the stifling trenches crews have to dig to get at the pipes.
That brings down the temperatures a lot. From triple degree weather down to, it feels like 80s, 70s. It brings it down a lot, a big difference.
SAW says it's renting 4 of these units at $6K a month each, so $24K in all. But they say they're not blowing money.
They've already paid for themselves. I mean, we had 4 heat-related incidents last year, recordable incidents. We've had 0 this year so far.
SAWS is looking at expanding their use into August too, and whether it has enough of the units on hand.
I think that we can easily expand it, possibly double it.
Good news for the crews who seem to think the new units are pretty cool.
Nothing but good feedback on it, and it seems like they like it. I mean, I wish I had this back in my days, but it is what it is now.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
About 15 a day.
Casey Holton goes on a lot of walks.
I've been doing this for about 15 years.
And he's always with a dog or two.
Right.
Holton runs a dog walking business, and these are 2 of his clients.
Just nothing but love, and obviously they trust me.
But with San Antonio heating up this summer, Holton has to cut his business hours short.
In between 11 and 8 to 8:30 at night is literally a siesta for me as far as dog walks.
Saying asphalt and sidewalks are just too hot to keep his dogs safe. And that's something the city is hoping to change soon with new cool pavement.
If it can cool down the neighborhood by a couple of degrees, it's really helpful.
The city just finished the first phase of its pilot program, paving 12 streets across San Antonio.
Cool pavement is one arrow in the quiver of heat mitigation tools.
The treatment uses materials that reflect solar radiation. And the city says this is a step towards sustainability and heat management across San Antonio.
We'll look at cool pavement in these most vulnerable census tracts or neighborhoods, and we'll add cool pavement, trees, and cool roofs to see how much we can cool down the neighborhoods.
Right now, UTSA is collecting data that the city will use in December to decide the next steps. But in the meantime, Holton's dog walking business will have to go with fewer walks.
If there's any hot weather, cut it shorter, whatnot.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
It's blowout season on Texas roads. Blistering 160-degree road temperatures can be brutal on tires.
This one does have some cracking on it.
Paul Hoogie at Thousand Oaks Automotive says worn tread is not safe.
You have a tire that does not grip. You have a tire that does not have very good traction in wet weather, so it's very dangerous. It also becomes a blowout hazard when that happens.
He has a handy tread checker, but if you don't have one of those tools, just get out a penny. You put it into the tread, and if you can see the top of Lincoln's head, it's time for new tires. Proper inflation is huge. Low tires create more friction and heat, but be careful, he says, not to overinflate.
You never want to put the tire at maximum PSI.
Under the hood, the thing the heat really saps, that battery.
It's supposed to be 3 years.
Brian Vollmer says heat affects the fluids and decreases the battery's capacity.
You look at this battery and it doesn't look that bad. But when I tested it, does fail according to cold cranking amps. So in the near future, somebody's going to go out to start this car if I don't replace the battery, and it's not going to want to start.
Next, check that coolant. If it's low or dirty, it can't properly cool the engine. And check the hoses. They can dry and crack. And finally, how's your car's AC?
If it feels like it's not up to par, chances are you're probably low on Freon or you could have a leak.
Bottom line, to keep your car humming in the heat, preventive maintenance and park in the shade. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
It's the start of football season in Livonia, and these coaches and players are doing anything to beat the heat, including practicing before the sun comes up.
We did that last year. We felt like it worked well, kept our kids out of the heat, especially now. This summer's been brutally hot, so it helps us keep them out of the heat a little fresher.
The University Interscholastic League has implemented several guidelines for schools during hot weather conditions. Water must be on the field and readily available to athletes at all times, and it's recommended that a minimum of 10 minutes be scheduled for a water break every half hour.
We've been preaching hydration all summer and off season, making our guys, carry around a gallon of water and just different things like that. Like, you've got to stay hydrated, you've got to eat right after workouts and all that stuff.
Marion head coach Ryan Miller says the UIL is also pushing for coaches to test the air before practicing using a wet bulb globe temperature index, which takes into account several weather factors.
Index, which is kind of an index that gives us a 3-category template to go off of, and it's based off humidity and heat and everything in the air. So we want to make sure we're following those guidelines.
Trainers and coaching staffs are also keeping a close eye for signs of heat illness, including significant weight loss, vomiting, and fatigue.
So we've met with our athletic training staff and make sure that they're monitoring, and the coaches are monitoring also, but it's just one of those deals that we're going to have to follow and make sure, obviously the athlete's health is the number one priority for us.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
So we have a Dear Texas Pecan.
Behind every flavor is a family recipe at Freshest Ice Creams.
It's part of the experience.
But owner Angela Cordoba is having trouble freezing her product in triple-digit temperatures.
All this part here, like getting melt.
She's relying on fans to help keep these freezers cool.
And I think you're buying one more.
Ice cream that's homemade, hand-scooped, and now, unfortunately, heating up.
For this hot summer is getting too hot, even the freezer.
Ice cream is a staple to the summer heat, but so is CPS asking its users to conserve some energy to protect the power grid. Since the start of the summer this year, CPS has reported almost an equal number of green days to yellow days, and they say that's not going away anytime soon.
Summer hit us pretty quickly, and when you're looking at temperatures up in the triple digits, it's hot, it's uncomfortable.
James Taylor is an electrical project manager for John Wayne Service Company. He says usage of the power grid is peaking.
It's very worked.
But small changes like using fans can make all the difference.
Anything you can do to keep that AC system from continuously running is definitely not only going to help the grid, but it's going to help your electricity bill.
For now, Freshest Ice Creams is making do.
This is too much, but this is my season.
The thermostat may read 79 degrees, but Cordoba says she's going to keep on scooping.
Let's go, God. And here we go.
Holding a smile and hoping her business heats up, just like the temperature. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
This is Paisley.
No animal goes without a name at Go Delicious.
We had 1 year where we named like everything was Harry Potter.
This dairy farm in New Braunfels has 150 goats.
You see their name tags.
And owner Robert Regels says he knows each and every one of them.
We're small enough to where we can keep an eye on all the animals. If we were like a 5,000 animal dairy, we would have animals that would die.
With the extreme heat and ongoing drought in Texas, Regels says he's working overtime to keep his livestock alive.
Just get them through the hottest part of the day.
All because Texas is heating up and Regels doesn't want it to hurt his business.
The hotter it gets, the harder it's going to be.
And that's a concern growing across the state.
You'll hear Texas ranchers sometimes say they are grass farmers before they say they're livestock producers because it all begins with grass.
Gary Joyner at the Texas Farm Bureau says this is when tough decisions are made.
Water is very precious, and when you're out of it, that's when you have hard decisions to make. On the livestock side, maybe you've got to liquidate a herd because no water is available.
Regel says he's importing in his hay all the way from Kansas just to keep his goats fed.
I can't get the feed that we need here in Texas. It's a lot more expensive for sure.
He says it comes with a bigger price tag.
That's bubble gummy on your left.
But it means these animals get to keep their name tags. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.